Ladies and gentlemen, once upon a time, there was a renowned Tambram dynasty. Grandpa Tambram was finance minister of India. Papa Tambram ran a corporation. And then along came Baba Tambram. When Baba Tambram was born, Grandpa Tambram and Papa Tambram thought, this is good. The dynasty will continue and he will march in our footsteps. Baba Tambram had other ideas though. As soon as he was able to speak and do something about himself, he said to Grandpa Tambram and Papa Tambram that he wanted to be a musician. He wanted to be a violinist, he said. Now, if that wasn't enough, he wasn't thinking of being a violinist in the Carnatic music milieu. He was going to learn Western classical music. Grandpa Tambram is said to have swallowed a couple of times and said to Papa under his breath, "What the hell have you produced?" But what could they do? He was the scion of the family, the third generation. So Baba Tambram went off to become a violinist, or to learn the violin. And he learnt and got diplomas and all kinds of things from the Trinity School of Music in the UK. Father and grandfather said, enough of this for God's sake, and sent him off to very fine schools. He went off to IIT in Madras and all of that. But, while he was there, he developed other thoughts. He began to play cards. Now you must understand, Tambrams don't gamble. That's not how they make their money. But here was Baba Tambram. He learned to play bridge. Grandpa and Papa were wondering where all the money was going. Because he was losing weight, he wasn't eating it. And he hadn't yet started drinking. Then they discovered that the blighter was playing bridge. And they said, this has got to stop, and sent him off to the US, and he went off to Cornell University. He studied computer engineering and all kinds of things. And then he brought him back thinking he'd start to run the company, and they got him a job in the company to work with the company. But there's no stopping Baba Tambram. He developed other problems. He made friends with some bloke in advertising. And this bloke instantly introduced him to a game. Now you must understand again, Tambrams are very wary about games they play. He introduced him to golf. Now Tambrams don't play golf. They play chess maybe. They don't play golf. Because apart from anything else, golf uses up all day. Baba Tambram would go off to play golf, take him half an hour to get there. He'd take him another half hour to get togged up. Then 4 hours of hitting a stupid little ball and walking behind it to hit it again and again and again. And when that's over, 1 hour at the 19th hole, drinking a beer or 2 or 3. And then another hour to massage and so on, and massage all the wear and tear away. And by the time I came home, he was not going to work. And this was just too much. They got him married, thinking perhaps if we give him the responsibility, the fellow will get down to work. But you know what? As much as Baba Tambram's wife tried, it was very hard for him to change his stripes. So much so, she got so worried she lost all her hair. But, ultimately the genes will tell. And they did kick in. And Baba Tambram took over TTK Industries. He began to produce all kinds of kitchen appliances and home appliances and all that sort of stuff. Until today, Prestige Limited is synonymous with exciting culinary instruments. And that, ladies and gentlemen, that Baba Tambram is our speaker today, my good friend T.T. Jagannathan.
Friends, when Bunty and Akshay came to me to talk about the Prestige story, I declined. I declined for 3 reasons. One, I am a doer, not a talker. I don't talk. I don't normally talk to audiences like this anyway. Secondly, the people who've spoken before me, we saw that on the screen, are very, very eminent people. And to follow them is a big challenge. And lastly, this story involves me, a lot of me, and I don't like talking about me. But they didn't take no for an answer, so here I am. I must apologize for 2 things before I start. One is I tend to talk too fast. I try to slow it down. It sounds terrible. It sounds like this. So I decided not to slow it down. I will continue to talk as fast as I can. But please forgive me. If you have missed out something, you can always ask me in the question and answer session. The second thing I must apologize for is I slur. I have a facial paralysis, so I slur. Sometimes you may not be able to understand that. Again, you can ask me when I'm doing the question and answer session. So something about me before we start the Prestige story. Stanley was right, Tam Bram family, and I was not the first son. I was not Sion, by the way. I had an elder brother who, in a traditional Tam Bram family, was supposed to take over the business. So I decided that I'm going to become an academic so that I can set out my own path. And to that end, joined IIT, graduated with gold medal, went off to America to study computer science and operations research. You were right about that. In the meantime, the violin and all that happened. And settled down nicely in America, finished my thesis, and was all set to settle down in America and teach. But disaster happened. My life is full of disasters that keep happening. And my father and mother came to America and told me we were bankrupt, which is quite a shock to me because I always thought we were well off. We were brought up thinking we were well off. And my father said, no, we are bankrupt. And by that time, my elder brother had become an alcoholic. So he said, you have to come back and do something because I am too old and I can't do anything. Me, I'm an engineer. I don't know anything about business. I don't have an MBA. I don't know marketing. I don't know finance to begin with. So he said, no, you come back. You will help us. You will help us. You have to help us. So I instead suggested that they come and settle down with me in the US. But my father unfortunately said no. He said, we've got a lot of debts. Till I pay those debts off, I will not leave India. Different from people these days. So I packed my bags, came off to India, not knowing what I was going to do. Absolutely not knowing what I was going to do. So came and saw what it was like. And it was much worse than I was told. We were not merely bankrupt. We were heavily in debt. And not in debt to banks, to individuals who would put their life savings with our company, their pension funds, their entire life savings. Then I understood why my father said he can't leave till he pays off those debts. Because these people depended on us. And I saw no way to turn around the company because I was not a businessman. And I had not taken no interest in business till that time. So first thing I did was I tried to sell the group for 1 rupee. I did. I went off to Bombay, met several investors, and tried to convince them to buy the group for 1 rupee. No takers. No takers. So back to the drawing board, didn't know what to do. But I thought the simplest thing to do would be to take over the company that makes the biggest loss, and let's see what we can do with it. And that was a company called Maps and Atlases, which I took over in 1972. And as luck would have it, with a lot of common sense, turned it around from a loss of 60 lakhs, I'm talking 1972, which is like 60 crores today, into not a profit, but at least lesser loss. But in the meantime, a lot of other companies in the group were bleeding. So still not knowing what to do, I'm still at Maps and Atlases. 1975, I got married. And we were on our honeymoon when my father sent a message saying, come back immediately. So when we came back to Madras, this happens frequently. Came back to Madras, and he was waiting at the airport with the ticket. And handed me the ticket. You're going to Bangalore tomorrow to take over TT Limited, which is what Prestige was known at that time. And I said, what am I going to do? They said, no, the current managing director resigned. I want you to go there tomorrow morning. Here's your ticket for tomorrow morning. So next day morning, I got onto a plane and came to Bangalore. And that's about all I'm going to say about the group. Suffice to say that the group is now thriving. Now let's get back to the Prestige story. The Prestige story. So landed up in Bangalore on January 1st, 1975, walked into the factory and found no production. Disaster again. I mean, this theme will keep recurring. And what to do now? Disaster. No production. Why? No aluminium. There was a huge shortage of aluminium, and the company, the officers of the company had made a misrepresentation to the government of India, so that we got no quota for aluminium. So we had a factory, no aluminium. So didn't know what to do again. Constantly, this didn't know what to do, also keeps coming up. So I went off to Delhi there used to be a guy called aluminium controller in those days. Yeah, so I went out to Delhi to meet the aluminium controller. After 3 months of begging and crawling, got a small quota, came back to Bangalore. That quota would supply only South India, but it was something. We at least had the factory going. By 1978, the shortages reached. And we needed more avenues of sales. So I said, no, we have to go north. Because South India, we were kings by that time. So I went off north to find out why we were not increasing in sales in the north. And I traveled the length and breadth of UP and found that our pressure cookers were bursting. And we came back to Lucknow and to our most important dealer in Lucknow, who's still our most important dealer in Lucknow, dealer called Kanhaiya Lal Pragdas. We fondly call him KLPD. And so he told me our cookers were bursting again. Didn't know why, so he took me to the warehouse, to his warehouse, and showed me 30 to 40 burst pressure cookers, all Prestige. Okay, it was quite a shock. That was when I realized that you have to go to the market yourself to understand what's happening. If you get third party to tell you what, they don't want to give you bad news. They never give you bad news. You have to go yourself. So till then we didn't know this. And it came as a shock. And what I realized that evening was, if this didn't stop, we don't have a business. The company is gone. So luckily, being an engineer now, that helped. I sat in a hotel in Lucknow, the whole night trying to figure out what to do. And the reason it burst was the spurious safety plugs. Everything in this country is spurious. You get spurious drugs, spurious food, everything is spurious. And the dealers are absolutely ruthless. They sell, doesn't matter if it kills a person, they will sell you spurious drugs or spurious safety plugs. So I had to come up with a solution that involved using spurious safety plugs but still kept the pressure cooker safe. And I thought I had a solution. So I called my chief engineer in Bangalore and said, mock this up and keep it ready for me when I come back. So I came back to Bangalore and found my chief engineer not even tried to do anything. And he told me, no, if it was possible, the UK fellows would have done it. Since they've not done it, we can't do it. And this was the tendency in those days for everything. Witness the ambassador in the Fiat. What we got from there is exactly what we produced for 50 years. That was what things were like in those days. People did not want to experiment. So I decided I'll go into the lab myself and spent a month, by the way, and came up with the gasket release system. And I'm happy to inform you that since that day, not a single Prestige pressure cooker has burst. And I decided that we needed to have a big bag launch for this because pressure cookers were inherently unsafe in those days. And here we had a pressure cooker that was 100% safe. So we had to shout about this. My then agency didn't see eye to eye with me. They said, no, it's on another launch. So I said, no, it's not. I want this. They declined. So with Bunty that evening, I said, Bunty, why don't you take the account? And Bunty said, yes. And thus was born the iconic film, Jo Bibi Se Kar Pyar, which Sadhika invented the line, Jo Bibi Se Kar Pyar, which is still remembered as one of the best lines in advertising.
आइए जनाब आइए कहिए क्या चाहिए
जी वो हाँ एक प्रेशर कुकर चाहिए
प्रेशर कुकर क्यों नहीं आप अपनी बीवी से कितना प्यार करते हैं ये तो बताइए
क्या मतलब है आपका
मतलब है मान लीजिए आप अपनी बीवी को सिर्फ थोड़ा सा चाहते हैं अगर तो कोई भी चलेगा प्रेशर कुकर लेकिन अगर थोड़ा ज्यादा लगाव है जनाब तो थोड़ा अच्छा प्रेशर कुकर लेके देंगे आप अगर अपनी जान से भी ज्यादा प्यारी है इनकी जान तो फिर ये 100% सुरक्षित प्रेस्टीज लेके देंगे श्रीमान
लेकिन प्रेस्टीज ही क्यों
क्योंकि सिर्फ इसी में है अनोखा गास्केट रिलीज सिस्टम जिससे जरा भी खतरा नहीं रहता ये देखिए ये इस तरह काम करता है अगर कुछ दाने वेट पेंट में फंस जाएं तो साधारण प्रेशर कुकर में जरूरत से ज्यादा प्रेशर जमा होने से खतरा पैदा हो सकता है लेकिन नए प्रेस्टीज में सेफ्टी प्लग कैसा भी लगा हो अनोखे गास्केट रिलीज सिस्टम की वजह से भाप सुरक्षित रूप से बाहर निकल जाती है
जी तो प्रेस्टीज ही दीजिए
जो बीवी से सचमुच करते प्यार वो प्रेस्टीज से कैसे करें इनकार?
A line that is frequently used even today. It is paraphrased in all kinds of circumstances. जो मोदी से करे प्यार, वो देश को कैसे करे इनकार, was recently something I read. So then, since I realized that there was a lab and I could do something, I said, okay, let's think around, let's see if we can do something more. And I set up a product development department with me as product development. That's it, nobody else there. And the first product we came up with was the pressure pan. Pressure pan was, I thought, ideally suited for India because we fry everything before we pressure cook. Also, we do a lot of frying, sauteing, deep frying and so on. So if I can get one vessel that can do it all, it will be ideal for India. Again, my chief engineer said, no, they would have done it in England. But in England, they don't cook like we do. So here goes. That's how we launched the pressure pan.
फेंक दो ये कढ़ाई, देगची, ये फ्राई पैन, इनसे नाता तोड़ो। प्रेस्टीज प्रेशर पैन, इससे नाता जोड़ो। प्रेस्टीज प्रेशर पैन फ्राई करे, डीप फ्राई करे, अच्छी तरह छुन छुन सिकाई करे, झट उबाले, फट प्रेशर दे। प्रेस्टीज प्रेशर पैन टीटी के उत्पादन।
Till that time, my father, in various business that he started, all business that he started, he used licensed brands, Western brands. The problem with licensing a brand is, anytime the license can be withdrawn. And the people who owned the Prestige brand were people who had other interests in India. They were American tobacco, and they had interest in tobacco in India. So I was very worried that at some point in time they take the brand away. So went off to England, and after very, very difficult negotiations, bought the brand for India. So that was the first time that we owned the brand in India, which was 1992. But we bought the brand only for India. And I thought, by that time, we were still making only pressure cookers, remember. The market was not large in India, so we thought, okay, let's export. But we did not have a brand for export. So we created a brand called Mantra. I wanted it to be a very Indian brand. So we called it Mantra, and I put 2 T's in it to reflect us. TT. And set off to sell this in America. In America, there is a housewives show called the National Housewives Manufacturers Association show, which is held in Chicago in January. You know what Chicago is like in January? Yeah. I went there every year for 15 years. But went there for the first 4 years, in this cold Chicago, no orders, no nothing. Just sitting there huddled in that booth, nothing happened. Luckily for me, in the 5th year, Macy's supplier let them down for pressure cookers. So we got the order. Then there was no looking back. Once we got Macy's, we got everybody else, one after that. We got Walmart, Kmart, Target, Kohl's, JCPenney, everybody. By the year 2000, we had exported more than 1 million pressure cookers to the US. And because of the safety of the gasket release system, not one single accident. Even today in the US, there are accidents in pressure cookers, but we didn't have a single accident. In those days, because our export success was so good, 40% of the company's sale was export. Today it's 5%. In 1993, we decided that we needed little more media attention, and media does not give attention at all to private limited companies. So we decided to go public, and we went public in 1993 at a share price of 90 rupees per share, and it was 15 times? 13 times oversubscribed. The period between 1993 and 2000 was a period of bore. Things went well. They continued to go well, and with the Hindu rate of growth, I'm not saying things were dramatic, but that 8%, 9% growth was there every year. There was nothing much to do. No new products were happening. We launched stainless steel and cookers and non-stick cookware, but that again was just all mundane. Things were going well till the year 2000, 2001. Then disaster again. This time really, really big disaster. In 2001, government increased taxes on pressure cookers to 50%. Can you imagine? And so what happened was all brands lost out to the unbranded competition because they didn't pay taxes. The unorganized sector didn't pay taxes. So the price differential became so large that all branded companies started losing market share to unbranded companies. So that hurt us really badly. The second thing that happened was we launched a pressure cooker called Smart, which was the state-of-the-art pressure cooker, beautiful pressure cooker. Unfortunately, it was made badly by us and had product problems. It would not pressure. So, I mean, can you imagine selling a pressure cooker that does not pressurize? But it did not. So we had to withdraw 300,000 pressure cookers from the market. 300,000. And lastly, always they said disaster comes in threes. And then lastly what happened was Mantra Inc. in the US went bankrupt because of 9/11, 2001. I mean, a lot of our customers went bankrupt, so Mantra Inc. went bankrupt. So all three put together, TTK Prestige was in deep trouble. We had lost half our capital reserves. Our borrowing zoomed to 100 crores. Our sale was only 100 crores. Our borrowing was 100 crores. We had outstanding of more than 88 months from the market. I mean, it was grim times, very grim times. I really thought at that time we may not survive. But what do you think we did then? We buckled down and did everything contrary. Again, it was useful not to have an MBA. You know? We did everything contrary. We said we tightened credit. We tightened credit. We launched more new products, in spite of the fact that Smart was a disaster. We expanded geography. We adopted differentiation as a theme. We expanded from pressure cookers to a full kitchen. From a decade of low growth, we targeted 30% growth for the next decade. I mean, we did everything that you should not be doing, basically. The only thing that I was sad about is we had to drop our iconic line, Jo BBC Kare Pyar, because the times had changed. The husband did not buy the pressure cooker for the wife anymore. That would have been an insult to the wife. So we had to drop that line. Instead, we switched the line, are you ready for a smarter kitchen? So we launched appliances. What happened? The big appliance dealers like Girias and Pies and all that would not buy our appliances. They said, Prestige is a pressure cooker company. You don't know anything about appliances. Why should we buy appliances from you? And our regular dealers were Patrakada, vessel dealers. They said, we don't know anything about appliances. We don't want to buy appliances. We don't know service. We don't want to buy appliances. So we were stuck now. We are ready to launch appliances, but no takers. We knew the consumer wanted to buy our appliances, but no takers, no way to get it to him. So we came up with another brilliant idea, that we'll start our own stores, Prestige Smart Kitchen stores. Having come up with the idea, we came up with two problems immediately. First, we had no money. So how are you going to start your own store? It requires a lot of money. And second, how do you deal with the dealers who will think you're competing with them? They'll stop buying. So we could get into big trouble. We solved both those by having franchise stores instead of having our own money. We got franchisees to invest in the stores. And the second, by having local dealer conferences, we're very, very open to store, to have conferences, dealers around them, to convince them that we're not going to compete with them. And that way we started what is now called the Prestige Smart Kitchen. We now have 530 stores. The first store from Coimbatore is still around and doing brilliantly. And the nice thing about our stores is that more than 50% of our stores are owned and run by ladies. And I also must say one thing more, they are much more efficient and dedicated than the men. So with that, we also had an avenue to showcase all the new products. Anytime we produce a new product, we could showcase it. If I took it to a dealer, first he won't put it on the counter, he'll put it somewhere in the back, if he takes it at all. Whereas my own stores had to take it and display it. So we had a great place to launch new products. And thus began our series of new product launches. We launched close to 75 to 100 new products every year since then. Every year. The pressure cooker market in India is divided into two. It's called inner-lid pressure cooker and outer-lid pressure cooker. It's like the front-loading washing machine and the top-loading washing machine. For some reason, America is all top-loading washing machines. Europe is all front-loading washing machines. Both wash. But there's a huge divide. Similarly, in India, there's a huge divide between outer-lid cookers and inner-lid cookers. The north is completely inner-lid, the south is completely outer-lid. The middle is sort of divided in between. But the bigger market is the north. And so the larger market was inner-lid cookers. So my colleagues, Ravi and Chandru, came to me one day and said, we should launch inner-lid cookers. I was shocked. I resisted that, really. I said, no way I'm launching inner-lid cookers. It took them a year, but they convinced me. And we launched inner-lid cookers in 2006. and thereafter started gaining market share in the north. And I'm happy to say today it's 50-50. We're a company that's almost throughout the country. By this time in the journey, we had appliances, we had complete kitchen now. Everything in the kitchen we were in. So the brand was getting to be known. We got the first Super Brand Award in 2006. And it was a proud moment. I mean, they considered that as the first top brand for kitchen appliances for the first time. But over the next 10 years, we got 4 Super Brand Awards, 3 Master Brand Awards, 3 Reader's Digest Award. You name the award, we got it all. So we opened an awards cabinet in our office, and it got filled up so quickly you won't believe. That's the one on the right. It's just chock-a-block full. But the best award we got was in 2010. We got the award as the best run small SME company in India. And the award was given by the then Prime Minister, Ms. Manmohan Singh, and that's me, the photograph, receiving that award. The same year in 2010, there was a huge shortage of LPG, gas, domestic gas. So we took advantage of that and launched India's first induction cooktop, which is an alternative to gas, much more efficient, safer, more automatic, more reliable. Everything about it was good. And it took off. It absolutely took off. In the first year, we sold 1 million pieces. And we also bundled it with our cookware. We had made special cookware that will operate with the induction cooktops. And that also we sold 1 million sets. So that year, we grew by 60%. Like that. But whenever that happens, it's dangerous because next year will come like this. And it did.
नया कनेक्शन लाइन देखा है क्या राशन कार्ड है क्या पासपोर्ट है क्या नहीं है मेरे को वही चाहिए सप्लाई आज क्या
अरे छोड़ो ये झंझट ले आइए प्रेस्टीज का नया इंडक्शन चूल्हा गैस से बेहतर प्रेस्टीज इंडक्शन चूल्हा सबसे हटकर
We thought everybody has a microwave oven at home. But what do you use it for? Reheating food. That's all you use a microwave oven. And it's such an expensive gadget and it is so much more versatile, but we don't use it. So we said, let's come up with a pressure cooker that will go into a microwave oven. First in the world. Nobody thought of that. Nobody thought of that probably because pressure cooking is not a big thing in the West. Whereas in India, it's a big thing. So we thought we'll produce a pressure cooker that can go into a microwave. It was the first in the world. It took 5 years. It took a long time. But we did. We finally developed a pressure cooker that would go into microwave. We received patents from US, UK, Europe, Japan, China, and everybody else. And a lot of other countries. We claim worldwide patent. There's no such thing. But we received patent from a lot of countries. And got huge success in export. We sold more than 1 million pieces in Japan in the first year alone. And we exported to every major country around, to US, to UK, to Germany, to France, to China, to Korea, to Japan, everywhere. Now comes 2014. In order to improve market shares again across the country, we needed to a celebrity couple to premiumize our brand, to take it to the top. So we decided to hone in on Aishwarya Bachchan and Abhishek Bachchan. So we brought back the iconic line, which I always wanted to do, Jo Biwi Se Kare Pyar, but with a twist. Here the husband cooks for the wife.
Tired? Chalo, get dressed, I'll take you for dinner.
Really?
Hurry up.
ये सब तुमने अकेले बनाया? कैसे?
कैसे मतलब? बड़े प्यार से और प्रेस्टीज से। जो बीवी से करे प्यार,
वो प्रेस्टीज से कैसे करे इनकार?
That campaign was very well received and again contributed to getting all those awards as the best brand. So 2016, we decided it's time to get out of the kitchen because we occupied the entire kitchen. Thereafter, we can get only organic growths, maybe 2, 5%, 10% a year. Not happy with that. Not happy at all with that. So we decided that we'll have to get out of the kitchen, but we had to select very carefully the area we got out of because the competition is severe in the consumer durable business. So we picked cleaning solutions for 3 reasons. One, it is the same consumer, the housewife, who's very familiar with Prestige and trusts Prestige. 2, it's the same distribution as cookware, as kitchen appliances. And 3, most importantly, we had developed in-house a domestic electric mop, the first in the world. Again, we've applied for patents in some 10 countries. It's the first in the world. We've got a lot of interest from people abroad to take our mop to the world. We have not yet launched it in India. It's undergoing beta trials, but we'll be launching probably this month or next month.
इसे तो बस गंदा पानी फैलता है।
मतलब?
इसका पता मुझे तब चला जब मैंने झाड़ू और पोछा छोड़कर नया प्रेस्टीज क्लीन होम डोमेस्टिक इलेक्ट्रिक मॉप अपनाया।
वो क्या करता है?
एक अनोखा प्रोडक्ट जो पूरे घर की सफाई को आसान और इफेक्टिव बना देता है। सिर्फ दिखने में क्लीन नहीं, इससे मिलती है असली क्लीनिंग।
अच्छा, दिखाओगे जरा?
हाँ, जरूर, अभी दिखाती हूँ। इससे मिलो, ये है नया प्रेस्टीज इलेक्ट्रिक मॉप। इसमें है स्प्रे मैकेनिज्म जो रेगुलर क्लीनिंग के मुकाबले हमेशा फ्रेश पानी से साफ करता है और काफी पानी सेव भी करता है। इसमें डिसइंफेक्टेंट लिक्विड भी भर सकते हैं ताकि जर्म्स भी ना बचे। तुम यहीं पर फ्लोर क्लीन है बोल रही थी ना? अब देखो, ये देखो तुम्हारे क्लीन फ्लोर से कितना गंदा पानी निकला।
ओह माय गॉड, तुम ठीक कह रही थी, इतनी गंदगी। और वाह, ये फर्श तो पूरा ड्राई भी हो गया बिना फैन ऑन करे।
The tagline for the product is don't touch the dirt, don't spread the dirt. We'll be launching this product probably in February. I'm happy to inform you that we have won a design award for 3 of our products recently. The Apple pressure cooker, the hop top and the clip-on. Interestingly, we have been a company that has innovated for the last 10 years on a regular basis. New products, we have done a lot of them. But if you ask an engineer to design a horse, that is, they say it will look like a camel. Because it is more efficient, it will last longer, it will run longer, but it will still look like a camel. And most engineering companies do design products like that. So we had to consciously make that leap from camels to horses. And I'm happy to say that we have made the leap. We won several awards. In fact, our hop top, which you can see there, hop top won the International Design Award from US and is permanently displayed in the Henry Ford Museum at Dearborn, Michigan. So again, remember, we still don't have a brand for export. Mantra, we were died, and so we don't have a brand for export. So we decided that we needed a brand for export, and the way to get it quickly was to buy a company in Europe, somewhere in Europe. But I had 4 conditions for that. You must be very careful when you buy these things abroad because ego plays a big part of it. I own a company in London. You know, I've got very careful about that. I set 4 conditions. First, it must be a running company. I don't have the bandwidth to revive a dead company. 2, it must have good brands which we can use. 3, it must have a good management that will run the company. 4, it must be of a size that I can swallow, and if it doesn't work, still the parent company will not be affected. And 5, most importantly, and that's the most difficult condition, it should not have manufacturing. If Tata can't close manufacturing, TT certainly can't close manufacturing. So I decided that these conditions are absolute. I will not relax even one of those conditions. It took 10 years to find a company that fitted all those conditions, but we finally did. Last year we bought this company, Horwood, with some wonderful brands and a great management, and we have great hopes on our export. We have set ourselves a target in 5 years to be able to export 500 crores from 40 crores this year. So our journey in the last, I've been in the company now 43 years, from a mere pressure cooker company to a total kitchen solutions company, from a family managed company to a professionally managed company, from a private limited company to a public health company, from 1.5 crores in sales to 1,500 crores in sales, from 6 rupees a share to 6,000 rupees a share. Strong management that has stayed through thick and thin, every brand award for a decade, market cap last month crossed $1 billion, and company is completely debt-free and cash-rich. At this point, I must ask my colleagues, Mr. Ravichandran, to stand up, please, and give him a big hand. He was the managing director most of that time. And my other colleagues, Chandru and Shankaran, who were there with me thick and thin. I must say that everybody in the organization, with all disaster after disaster, nobody ever left. Nobody ever left. They stayed with me through thick and thin. So my great gratitude to them. And lastly, as I'm ready to hang up my boots, I'm happy to leave behind a company that I believe will stand the test of time. Thank you. If there are any questions, I'll take them. Yes, yes.
Mike, please. Is there a mic?
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
In practical business practices, innovation plays a great part.
Yes.
And notwithstanding that you haven't highlighted that aspect, but it looks like that innovation has been a driver in your business, notwithstanding whatever else you have done. One example which comes to my mind is Gillette company, for example. They compete within themselves for their own products and sort of are on top of the innovation curve. What would you say would be the percentage of your total outlook or your efforts or your resources which really went into the innovation part of your business? And do you think that's a central reason you are where you are today, from 6 rupees a share to 6,000 and more?
I'm guessing now, but I will tell you what I believe. First, the top 5 levels in my company are cooks. They're all engineers, but they all cook. That's the necessity. We're in the cooking business. If I say I don't know how to cook, there's no way I'm going to innovate. The second thing is, because of our own stores, franchise stores, we get a lot of feedbacks from the customers on pain points, what they would like to see, what they would like to. Can you make something like this? That helps us in thinking of what to do. Thirdly, we do travel all the shows, fairs in the world, and we do get ideas from other people. So as a combination of all the 3, we come up with products. And we have very good product development team who are made of engineers, so they take ideas and make them into products.
Would you say pressure cooker, if it was 100% in whichever year you started, today it is
30%, 20%.
so 80% is innovation?
Yes. No, even pressure cooker is all innovation. The pressure cooker we sell today is probably 5 years old. We don't sell ambassadors anymore. Yeah. That I'm not a teacher.
Hi, Jagu. Lakshmi here.
Yes,
Jagu, I think I better stand up. Thank you. First of all, I've heard number of these stories, but now you summed it up beautifully. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
What really, today we're always talking in terms of disruptive technologies. Everybody is constantly talking what's going to come next that's going to wipe out the past. Can you dream of something that's going to disrupt you?
I'll tell you the answer to that one. I'm nearly 70 years old, thank God. It's not going to disrupt me. I'm going away. Let somebody else worry about that.
Miss Sancheta Verma, President of the Ad Club Bangalore, will deliver the vote of thanks.
The IAS Pierbhoy Memorial Lecture has attracted many stalwarts over the years, and we are indeed fortunate to have had amongst us Mr. T.T. Jagannathan to share that wonderful story that you shared with us. And on behalf of the Advertising Club Bangalore and my personal behalf, a little thing that I would like to say is that I started my career with the TTK group a long time back. I'd really like to thank you for your thought-provoking lecture. And to me, I found this actually a scintillating story of innovation. I saw a lot of resilience and bravery that we need to keep on showing from time to time. And understanding our market, understanding our customer. And if we're in the business, then we need to cook. These are some things that I kind of took back with me. I also love the passion and the sense of humor, sir. And that's something that we always have to have fun in whatever that we do. I would really like to thank Bunty and Sadhika Pierboy and the Ma Foundation for giving us the opportunity to be associated, that Club Bangalore, to be associated with this wonderful event. And we've been associated with the Ayaz Pierboy Memorial Lecture for the last 3.5 decades. Last but not the least, I would really like to thank the entire audience out here for spending this wonderful evening with us. Thank you for your wonderful time. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's the end of our Tambram story today. But it's never going to end. He's got a lineup of people behind there. There's Mukund and a couple of other sons, grandchildren. Yeah, the Tambram lineage is alive and well. Jagu, that is a marvelous evening. And now, if you don't mind, can we go and have a drink? Let's go, ladies and gentlemen.